Om Stavakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Stavakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namaha Niranjanam Nityamanantarupam Bhaktanukampadrita Vigraham Vai Niranjanam Nityamanantarupam Bhaktanukampadrita Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidhyam Tam Ramakrishnam Sirasa Namami. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate, who is adored by all, pure, eternal, infinite by nature. Out of His infinite grace on the devotees, the Divine Supreme has assumed a human form in the form of Sri Ramakrishna. Let us bow down to Him. Let us try to dwell upon the personality of Sri Ramakrishna. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate, who came to establish religion universal. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Today's topic I have chosen great teachings. Every now and then the holy people keep coming in order to teach humanity through their lives and experiences. So every word uttered by them is a great teaching. If you study Sri Ramakrishna's life, Holy Mother's life, and Swami Vivekananda's life, and the life of great saints and sages, you find their teachings are inspiring and illuminating. So, it is very important for us to study their lives and experiences with devotion and dedication. Then it is possible for us to correct the mistakes we might have committed in our lives. One point we should remember, we should never condemn ourselves. We are open to corrections. Until we become pure enough, we will not be able to have the vision of the divine. In other words, we will not realize the truth unless we purify ourselves to a certain extent. So, the great teachers, every action of them, every word uttered by them has great lesson. There was once a painter. He would paint the idols of the gods and goddesses. He was a great painter. His son also had that talent. He would also try to paint the idols. After completing each idol, the son would come and show it to his father. But his father would always find some error in his work. He would say, "Not very good, it needs improvement." Next day, the boy would show the improved painting to his father. Again, the father would not be satisfied. He would point out, "Look, the eyes are not properly painted. Improve them." Sometimes he would say, "The head needs correction." In this way, the father, famous painter, would keep on finding out some kind of mistakes in the painting of the son. One day, the son became so depressed. He thought within himself, "Well, my father will never say my paintings are good. Every day he points out some errors and asks me to improve." So what he did was, one day he painted a beautiful idol of the god and he buried it in the ground. After a month, he dug it up and said, "Father, I have found this idol hidden in the ground." He showed the idol and asked, "What do you think of this murti?" His father praised, "Very good. You should paint like this." His son said at once, "But father, I have painted this idol." As he heard this, father became sad. He said, "Look, from now on you will never improve. I used to scold you about your paintings, so you would always try to do better. Your brush won't improve beyond this point now," he exclaimed. So, this is a great lesson. The enlightened Mahatma, holy person, scolds us only to carry us forward. Therefore, only think of his virtues. Never feel badly towards him. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, we should try to be associated with holy people as much as we can. That's the way to get rid of the terrible worldliness. which is the cause of all suffering in our life. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, one of the great incarnations, he used to get himself immersed in the contemplation of the Lord while singing His glory, and he would get into ecstasy. Once he was conducting Nagar Sankirtan, he would gather some people and along with them would go in street singing the praises of God. That is in Navadvip. Navadvip is very famous in Bengal. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born in Bengal. So, when the Nagar Kirtan was going on, many people would join the bhajan group. In that atmosphere, they would ecstatically sing bhajans and walk along the streets. What happened was, a thief also joined this group. He thought it would be an opportunity for him to pick up the pockets of rich devotees who would be lost in singing and dancing. Pickpocketing is easy, he thought. But when he actually participated in the group bhajan, he himself began to sing with more zeal than others. The atmosphere created so much, he forgot for the time being he had come for pickpocketing. And then they all came to a temple and sit in the auditorium. The thief also sat, but he chose the seat to sit nearby Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Many people after some time left the temple. This thief caught hold of Chaitanya's feet and said, "Oh Swami, you are giving so much advice to many people. Kindly give me some sacred mantra." Chaitanya looked at him and said, "Tell me first of all who you are and what you do. Give me your introduction." The thief said, "Swami, how can I lie to you? I am a thief. I have been a thief all my life. My name is Rama. People call me Rama the thief." Chaitanya said, "What a pity. I shall give you a mantra. But what will you give me as Guru Dakshina?" Whatever the good actions are done, it should be followed by Dakshina. That completes the ritual. The thief at once said without any hesitation, "I shall give you a share in the booty I get from a theft." Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Oh, I have no need for any money. All that I insist is that you should give up stealing." The thief said, "Oh Swami, that's my profession. How else can I earn a living? How am I to live? I don't know anything. I don't have any skill." Well, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I shall give you a sacred mantra on one condition. When you go for thieving, you must first recite the sacred mantra I give you 1008 times. First you must recite. You must repeat God's name 1008 times. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then whispered into his ear the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Transformation even by then had taken place in the thief because the touch of the holy person had such effect upon the thief. And because of this holy touch by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the thief was also freed from the sin of his past deeds, whatever sins he has committed previously up to that point. The thief went back a refined person. He was highly pleased and became very happy to see the transformation in his life. One day, many wealthy householders had locked their houses and had gone for the darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The thief, he had that tendency of thieving, stealing. He did not want to lose this opportunity to break into a house. So he went to the house of one of the richest men of the town. He broke into the house, entered the room where the iron safe was kept. He opened it and saw valuable gems and jewels of gold. He resolved not to touch anything until he had finished reciting 1008 times the mantra given to him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had told him the condition. First you must recite 1008 times of the mantra. Then you do whatever you want to do. So before he completed the number, the master of the house arrived along with the family. The lady of the house wanted to remove all the jewels she had worn before she left the house and keep them back in the safe. She saw a stranger lost in repeating the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He has closed his eyes and he was in ecstasy. She thought, this person must be a great sage who had come to their house to bless them. So she called her husband. The thief does not know anything. He did not know anything. He was lost in his meditation. Because the power of the mantra given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so full of power. He was totally absorbed in that mantra. The entire family sat around him with folded hands. They thought he must be a saintly soul like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After some time the thief opened his eyes after the completion of 1008 times the mantra he received from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was surprised to find the group of people sitting reverentially before him. The master of the house asked him, Sir, may we know who you are, and may we request you to honor us by accepting to take food with us today so that we shall be redeemed of our sins? The thief said to himself, if the mere recitation of the Lord's name now and then can bring me such honor, What greater things cannot happen to me if I sincerely make it my daily habit of reciting the name continuously? I may certainly win the grace of the Lord. So that was the turning point in the life of this thief. He decided to give up thieving. He prostrated before the master of the house and his wife and said, "Mother, let me tell you the truth. I am a thief. Let me go to the forest. I shall spend the rest of my life in the contemplation of God." All were surprised at his words, but were very happy to see the change in the person. So like this, the holy people have got so many ways of transforming the ordinary people, leading them to spiritual ways. So this person who gave up his thieving habit stayed with them as their guest that night. The news of this event spread fast around in the morning. As a result, the whole neighborhood came to see him. Not only that, they took him in a palanquin around the town and left him in the forest where he wanted to do his tapas. Later, once again he came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and received his blessings so that he may blossom into a real sage. So these are all events have happened in course of the life of the Mahatmas. So it is very important to be in touch with holy places, holy associations. That's why we always conduct retreats during summer in Ganges, so that people can be benefited by spiritual ideas. Another important quality of a Mahatma is humbleness. Humbleness is the quality. That is a person who is free from egoism, who has placed his ego at the lotus feet of the Lord. Tukaram was a great saint of Maharashtra. He was always singing bhajans. Once some kids came to Tukaram. They were mischievous. They said, "Sir, please sing some fag." Tukaram refused. The children grabbed hold of Tukaram and shaved off all the hair from his head. They then painted his head white with lime. As if this was not enough, they sat him backwards on a donkey and gave him the donkey's tail to hold. They garlanded him with a garland made of carrots and brinjals. They did all this to Tukaram. The kids then took him all around the village, shouting and making fun of poor Tukaram all the way. When Tukaram's wife saw this, she burst into tears. But see the humbleness of Tukaram. How did he look into this event? He said to her, "Why are you crying? What wrong has been done? My hair was long and I did not have the money to cut it, so the kids cut it free of charge. And I also have dandruff, but now the lime will cure it. They put the lime. And when we got married, did we have a procession? No. So we had it today. Plus, the vegetable garland will do as food for a few days. So much brinjals are there, we can prepare the food. Tukaram was very humble. Another person would have been greatly insulted. But Tukaram tolerated everything, and the whole Maharashtra sings the praises of Tukaram and Janbai. They're all great souls. They showed spirituality through their lives. Their life itself is a teaching. But the point is, we must be sincere to improve our lives. Then everything happens. God's grace will come. He will help us in so many ways. He gives us so many opportunities. If you are not sincere, nothing will work. Another story which has a great lesson. There was a very wealthy person, Sethji, but he was very mean and miserly. He would never spend even a cent, never donated for any cause, and he would always wear torn shoes and tattered clothes. One day, he fell seriously ill and became bedridden. During his whole life, it was said, he had only one friend, his personal tailor. But unfortunately, he had died a few months earlier. Everyone knew the Seth's days were numbered because he was seriously sick. One day, one by one his family and neighbors came to pay their formal respects. The tailor had a son. He arrived. The Seth said to him, "Well, it seems that I will not last long here. My moment to rise to heaven has come." The young boy, though only 15 years old, was very wise. He knew of the Seth's craving for wealth and miserliness. So the boy said, "Sethji, my father is already in heaven." His father tailor had passed away earlier. He often told me that he wished to sew rich garments for the Lord, but he forgot to take his needle with him. Will you please take this needle with you and give it to him? Because you are also going to heaven. Oh, all right. I will be happy to do that, he agreed. The Sethji was happy to do anything as long as it did not involve any giving from his side. So he took the needle and gave the boy permission to leave. Then, lying on his bed, he began to think. The Sethji began to think, Where shall I place this needle? Pin it in my shirt? No, that won't do. All my clothes will burn away in my funeral fire. Shall I keep it in my mouth? Yes, I should place the needle in the bulge of my cheek. Then again he had second thoughts. But my whole body will be burnt to ashes. How am I to carry this small needle to heaven? The more he thought about it, the more confused he became. Finally, he called the tailor's boy and said, "Oh, my dear boy, take your needle back. I won't be able to take it to heaven." But the boy looked amused. He said, "If you are going to carry all your millions of riches to heaven, then why can't you carry one little needle?" The Seth's inner eyes were opened. He realized that none of his wealth or property would accompany him after death. He prayed to God to forgive him for all his past wickedness and promised to profoundly donate his wealth in charity should he survive the illness. Fortunately, he got over the illness and he kept up his word. He donated all the accumulated wealth, built a great temple for God, fed thousands of people, and helped the poor people. Remember that only wealth which is spent in the service of God, in the service of his Guru, and in the service of the needy is worthwhile. Our good deeds alone accompany us after death, and nothing else will join us. Another important point we should remember, the most troubling factor in everyone's life is mind. If the mind is good, you are good. If the mind is friendly, you are wonderful. So, how important it is to control the mind. It is the mind that causes us all suffering. So monkey and mind is generally compared to monkey. Swami Vivekananda also explains this in his Raj Yoga lectures. There was a snake charmer who used to move from village to village to entertain folks, which is an acrobatic team of a monkey, a snake, and a goat. That is the team. Once, while wading across a river, he balanced the snake basket on his head. He sat the monkey on his shoulder and guided the goat with his hand. The water level was low, but there flowed a strong current. But the snake charmer cautiously took his steps with an eye on all three of his team, acrobatic team. Midway, where the force was fierce enough to drag away the goat, he tightened his grip on it. The other two were safe above. But were they? The monkey by nature was mischievous. It was restless and could not resist playing a game. It slowly opened the snake basket. The snake within the darkness of the basket sprung up with its head high and tongue hissing. The sound and fury frightened the monkey and it fell into the water. The current began to drag the monkey away. A split-second effort to save the monkey threw the charmer off balance and he dropped the snake basket into the stream. To catch hold of the basket, he lost his grip on the goat. So within seconds, all three of his companions, the monkey, the snake and the goat, were carried away by the current. So in real life, our mind is the monkey. It is restless and difficult to predict. Many times it causes trouble and leads us into serious trouble. Instead of helping us float across the ocean of life, it throws us into the ocean. Therefore, it is wise that we control and master our mind. Controlling the mind, restricting the mind, restraining the mind is very important. Then only you can enter into spiritual realm. If the mind is not controlled, you will not be able to rise up at all. Swami Vivekananda told a story in the course of his lectures. A great sage Narad would always go from place to place and help the people in so many ways. He was a great yogi and very compassionate. He could go anywhere in the universe. One day, he was passing through a forest and he saw a tapasvi meditating in a place where the anthill grew around his body. He was so absorbed in his contemplation. He was surrounded by anthill. So he could see and recognize the Devarshi is coming along his path. So he immediately began to talk to him. Master, will you please let me know where are you going? Narad immediately said, I am going to heaven. Then please ask God when He will be merciful to me, when I shall attain freedom. Narad said, yes, I will do that. Then he walked along. Then he saw another person who is also doing tapas. But his tapas was a different type. He was not sitting and doing meditation. He was jumping about, singing, dancing, doing bhajans. He also was very anxious. He said to Narad, "Oh Narad, where are you going?" Narad said, "I am going to heaven." "Sir, will you please ask God when I shall be free?" Narad said, "Well, I will come and tell you, definitely." So, Narad, after some time, came back on the same road. Then the man, first tapasvi, who was and whom the anthill had grown, was absorbed in concentration and meditation. He was very curious to know that Narad has come back from heaven and what reply he has brought. So he asked him. Narada said immediately, yes, God said you would attain freedom in 4 more births. You will have to take few more births, 4. Afterwards, you will attain freedom. Hearing this tapasvi became depressed. He began to weep and wail and said, what? I have meditated so long until an anthill has grown around me. I still have 4 more births yet. He was impatient. He could not tolerate. Then he came to the second person who was dancing and doing bhajan. He also wanted to know when he gets freedom. So Narad told him, well, you see the tamarind tree, you will have to take births as many tamarind leaves there on this tree. So many births you have to take. Then only you will attain freedom. But hearing this tapasvi did not get depressed. On the other hand, he began to dance for joy and said, I shall have freedom after such a short time. Because he heard the news that he will get freedom, that was enough for him. After how many births, that he is not concerned about. But he was assured of his freedom. So with great joy, he began to chant God's name. Immediately he heard the voice, my child, you will have freedom this minute. That was the reward for his reverence, for his perseverance. He was ready to work through all those births. Nothing discouraged him. But the first man felt that even 4 more births were too long. Only perseverance, like that of the man who was willing to wait for a long time. So that would bring him the highest result. So, perseverance, steadfastness, determination, strong will, these are the qualities very essential to build up spiritual life. Once Lord Shiva and his consort Parvati, they were traveling with their vehicle. Their vehicle was Nandi, bull. The Lord had taken the form of an old man, while Parvati remained young and beautiful. So they were coming with the bull. On the road, all passers-by looked on with amazement at this odd couple of an old man and a young woman. On the way, Shiva said, "Oh my dear Parvati, please sit and ride on the bull during this journey." She obeyed and mounted the bull, while Shiva walked alongside. The village folk and other strangers bitterly criticized. What a selfish woman! She is young and healthy, and yet she chooses to comfortably ride while forcing the old man to walk. Shiva changed his mind. Parvati, the people are mocking at you. It is wiser that I sit and you walk. So saying, Shiva sat on the bull's back. Shiva was in the guise of an old man. Then they walked along. Other strangers, they came with sharper comments. Oh, look at this mean bully of a man. He is fat and robust. He enjoys the ride while forcing this young and gentle lady to walk on foot, they criticized. Hearing this, both of them climbed the bull. At least this would ward off the criticisms. But they were greatly mistaken. No sooner had they come to the next village, people began to jeer and make comments. Look at this nasty couple. Both of them have mercilessly climbed upon the bull. They will kill the poor creature. Now, there was only one option left. What was the option? They dismounted and allowed the bull to walk freely. They accompanied it on either side. While they walked, they met new people with new bitterness. They laughed at them, shouting, "What foolishness! They have taken a bull as a vehicle and neither of them is using it." Straight away Shiva told Parvati, "Come, let us do what we think is right and live the way we want to. The world will never appreciate or see what we do as correct. In this world, even if we perform a good deed, not everyone will like it and support it. The problem lies with the nature of our world. If a Mahatma shows miracles, people say he is into black magic and possesses evil powers. If a Mahatma avoids miracles, they will murmur, they will mutter complaints. Oh, he shows no miracles. He is very ordinary and is of no use. This is the line of thinking our world works on. It is crooked from both ends. And whatever you do, the world will never see you straight. Therefore, what is the lesson? Pay no attention to the words of the worldly people, but continue to devotedly worship God. That's the lesson. There was a lazy man sleeping under a fruit tree. He was very lazy. He was too lazy to put the fruit into his mouth. He waited for someone to pass by. After a while, he saw a camel rider in the distance. He shouted, "Oh camel rider, please stop." The camel rider thought to himself, the poor man might be sick and may want to drink some water or need other help. So he stopped his camel and walked half a field over to the lazy man. He asked, "What can I do? May I help you?" Remaining lying down, the lazy man said, "You see, a fruit has fallen on my chest. Will you please kindly put it into my mouth?" The camel rider became cross. He said, "I got off my camel and walked across half a field to you, and this is the only reason you called me for." He stood up very angry. The lazy man called after him, "You are a very lazy fellow. All you had to do was put the fruit in my mouth." So, the lazy man had only to put the rayan into his mouth, and yet he called somebody else. How can such a person get ahead in life? Satsang can be compared to the fruit falling on our chest. Shedding laziness, we should take full benefit of satsang. That's the point. So satsang has a very great effect. Once Narad said to Krishna, "O Lord, what are the fruits of doing satsang?" The Lord, pointing to the big worm, said, "This worm in hell will explain to you the benefits of doing satsang." See, God doesn't give a direct reply. He always tries to exercise your intellect. So Naradji went to the worm in hell and asked, "Worm, what are the fruits of doing satsang?" The worm looked at Naradji, and as soon as the worm heard this, he died. Naradji did not get any answer. So he returned to the Lord and said, "O Lord, I did not get an answer to my question, and the worm died. Now you must give me an answer." The Lord said to Narad, "Look, see that nest. In it is a newly born parrot. Go and ask it." Parrot. The baby parrot will explain to you the fruits of doing satsang. With this command from God, Naradji approached the little baby parrot and asked, "What are the fruits of satsang?" The baby parrot opened its eyes and looked at Naradji, then died. This frightened Naradji. He began to think, the benefit of satsang is death? Whoever I ask this question, he dies. He made his way to the Lord. With great unhappiness he said, "If you want to tell me the truth, then please tell me, Master, because whoever I ask dies. Murder hangs on my head now. I don't think I can take your advice again." The Lord laughed at this and said, "Naradji, don't be upset. If you really want an answer to your question, then go and ask that newly born calf." Still sad with death of the baby parrot, Narad approached the newborn calf and softly asked in its ear, "What are the fruits of satsang?" Naradji stood still waiting for an answer. The calf looked at Naradji and toppled to the ground. It died. Naradji was now extremely depressed. He had now sinned by killing a cow. He quickly went to the Lord to speak his mind. He was going to tell him off. But the Lord calmed him down and said, "You will certainly get the answer to your question now. The king has a newborn boy. Go ask the baby prince your question." Narad said to the Lord, "Up to now I have asked a worm, a parrot and a calf, and they have all died. I have been lucky that nobody has troubled me so far. But if the king's son dies, then I will be in the deep trouble. So now I don't want to know the fruits of doing satsang." The Lord assured Naradji that the prince would definitely explain to him the benefits of doing satsang, and he would not die. Naradji, with a brave heart, went to the palace and asked the prince, "Brother, what are the fruits of satsang?" Hearing this, the prince looked at Naradji and laughed. He answered, "Naradji, haven't you understood the greatness of satsang yet? When you first asked me the question, I was a worm. I then died and became a parrot. But in the second darshan, at my nest, I died and was given the body of a calf. Then again with your darshan, I was freed and given this highest of births as a human being. And now with the grace of your darshan, I have been fulfilled. If just by your darshan I have gained so much, then think how much a person can gain by associating with a great Mahatma such as yourself." Naradji now fully understood the greatness of satsang. He returned to the Lord and praised, "O Lord, your divine ways will never be understood by anyone." So like that, there are so many events and things happen in our daily life. Only we should be watchful and cautious, observing things and learning. Every event has got a lesson to teach us. That's the way how the Lord teaches people. It doesn't teach directly. He allows us some freedom to think, to act. But He wants us to think properly and act wisely. That's what God wants. That is His play. He wants to play that way. It's very easy for Him to touch our heads and raise up to our heaven. But what joy is there? If you want to rise to the heaven by doing tapas yourself, by your effort, you feel a fulfillment. Yes, I got the greatest reward. That's the beauty. So, Sri Ramakrishna used to say, this whole world is God's Leela Kshetra. So we are all playing games. Each one's life is a game. That you will understand only when you realize the truth. How true it is. We are all playing in the game of these unreal things. Holding on to unreal as real, untruth as truth. And so the game goes on. The game continues until we open our eyes and understand things properly. Thank you very much. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavagai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavid Vishavagai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we not be fruitful and enlightened. May we not hate each other. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.